Assalamualaikum and good day, sir. So today our group will be presenting our group assignment for itt440, which is Docker implementation. So our group consisted of 6 people, which are Fadli, Haikal, Firdaus, Adli, Sofia and me, Syamilah. Throughout our presentation, we will be going to go through 8 important parts, which start with the objective. And then it will continue with introduction, server installation, Docker installation, connecting to container, MySQL connection, server and client connection, and lastly will be implementation video. So for the last part, we will show how the coding for this assignment was done. So the objective of this assignment is to deploy 3 types of containers, which are MySQL, server and a client. So we need to ensure each of them are interconnected. Okay, moving to its introduction to Docker. What is Docker? Docker is an open source platform for developing, shipping and running container applications. So containers are similar to virtual machines but are lighter and more efficient. They share the host machine's operating system, but they have their isolated file system and network resources. With containers, we can run multiple applications on a single host machine without interference, which enhancing resources utilization and scalability. Okay, moving towards a Docker architecture. So Docker uses a client-server architecture. It comprises 3 main components, which are the client, we have Docker host and registry. So what's the function of client? Client is the interface for users to interact with Docker. And that Docker host is a machine that runs the Docker daemon. So the daemon itself, it listens for client commands and manage container life cycles such as creation, execution and deletion. And lastly, we have registry. So registry is the repository for Docker images. It is also known as the blueprints for containers. So users can pull image from public registries like Docker Hub or set up private registries for custom images. So Docker's simplicity and efficiency make it a powerful tool for modern application deployment, enabling developers to build and deploy applications seamlessly.
Okay, the next slide is a virtual machine. Okay, what is a virtual machine? Virtual machine is allow a business to run an operating system that we have like a completely spared computer in and apps Windows on the desktop. So VSM may be developed to accommodate different level of operating power needs to run software that require different operating system or to test application in a software sandbox environment. So how to virtual machine work? Is a virtual machine run as a process in an application Windows, similar to any other application on the operating system of the basically machine. The key file that make up a virtual machine invite invalid log file and VRAM setting file, virtual disk file and configuration file. So if you can see, they have a 2 type virtual machine, so that a user can choose from 2 different types of virtual machine in a process or system. So the process virtual machine allow a single process to run as an application on a host machine, providing a platform independent program environment by masking the information of the underlying hardware or operating system. So for this example, a process in virtual machine is a Java virtual machine, which enable any operating system to run Java application as if they were native to the system. So for the system virtual machine is a fully virtualized to substituted for a basically machine. System platform support that sharing of a host computer basically resource between multi-type virtual machine, so each running its own copy of operating system. So virtualized process relies on a hypervisor which can run on bare hardware such as VMware, ESKey, or on top of an operating system. Okay, the next slide is container. Okay, container is an installed environment for your code. So this means that a container has a knowledge of your operating system or your file. So it can run on development providing to your by Docker desktop. So this container have everything that you could need in order to run down to a base operating system. So how to container work? Okay, in abstraction in the application layer, whereby code and dependency as a compare or package together. So it is possible to run multi-type container on one machine. So each container insert share the OS kernel with other containers. So each running as a isolate process. This is virtual machine versus container. They have a 9 difference. For the first is a definition of a virtual machine. It's a computer system with in-on CPU, memory, and network interface. The hardware is virtual by using a hyper-virtual that allow multi virtual machine to run on a single server. So each VM has a full copy of OS, application binary, and libraries. So for the container, the unit of software that contains the code and all difference so that an application can run across platforms such as desktop, data center, and cloud. So this provide an abstraction at the application layer. So each container can run a solution processing while sharing the same OS kernel. So for the OS, virtual machine has a run on operating system completely separate from the host server. So for the container, they have a host operating system, resource of the host share and split. So for the application installation, virtual machine, they have a full installed and more secure. So container is processed in level solution. So for the size and boot up, they have a heavy boot up time is a slow for the minute, and for the container they are light but in time is a fast. So for the virtualize, they have a hardware level virtualizing. So for the container, they have a OS. So for the cost, virtual machine get expensive. For container is expensive. So for if we can see, they have a less, not all resource or use all the time, leading to wastage. For the container, they have a more fancy. Okay. Portably and scalably, virtual machine is a low. For container is a high. And for the last one is companies. Virtual machine, they have VMware, C3, Microsoft Hyper-V. And for the container, they have a Docker, Google, or Oracle, and IBM.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Adli. I will be presenting on the installation process of Ubuntu server. The first step is to download the Ubuntu server ISO. We head over to the official Ubuntu website and grab the latest version, ensuring that we have the most up-to-date features and security patches. Next, we need to create a bootable installation media. For VirtualBox, we will create a virtual optical disk. You can load the ISO directly as the installation media. Then we insert the virtual optic disk ISO file into the VirtualBox and initiate the virtual machine. This will start the Ubuntu server installation within the VirtualBox environment. The installer will load and you can select your language Choose Install Ubuntu and proceed with the language and location setting just as you would in a physical installation. Then configure your language, location, and keyboard layout within the VirtualBox environment. This ensures that your virtual server environment is set up correctly. Moving on to next slide, we will delve into the configuration step. Set up your network connection choosing between DHCP or static IP address based on your network configuration. Then select the disk for the installation and choose between guided partitioning or manual partition configuration. Then we will set up user and password. Enter your name, choose a username, and set a password. This account will be used for logging in after the installation. Then opt to install the OpenSSH server if you need remote access to server during the installation process. Choose the base where you want to install the GRE bootloader, a crucial step in the boot process. Once the installation is done, remove the installation media and restart your system. You are now ready to log in using the credentials used at home. Form any additional configuration or installation based on your specific requirement. These steps allows you to tailor the server to your needs. Moving on to the next slide, where we explore running the server and installing Docker. As you can see on the screenshot, we've established a secure SSH connection to our Ubuntu server. SSH provides a secure way to access and manage our server remotely. In our virtual environment, we've executed the command of snap itt to create the itt440 directory. This directory serves as the central hub for all our project-related files and configuration. As you can see on the screenshot, let's take a look what's inside our itt440 directory. The following files and configuration have been set up. We have MySQL, servers-c, client-c, server-python, client-python, and also docker compose.yml file. These files are the building blocks for our itt440 project, containing all the necessary elements for our project. And in conclusion, we've covered the essential step to install a Ubuntu server, ensuring a solid foundation for the server environment. And now I'll hand it over to our next presenter, who will take you through the exciting step of Docker installation on Ubuntu. Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fadli bin Amir. So today I'm going to present about Docker installation on Ubuntu. Okay, here is the step. So the first one is we need to update the package repository. So basically we just need to run the command sudo apt update to ensure that the latest prerequisite package will install in our Ubuntu. And the next one is install prerequisite package. So the apt package manager will require a few prerequisite package on the system to use over HTTPS. So we will need to run below command to install, which is sudo apt install apt transport https ca certificate curl software properties command. The next one is add GPG key. A GPG key will verify the authenticity of a software package. So we'll need to import the GPG key to the repository by using the command below, which is curl -fssil-https download docker. And the next one is to add Docker repository. Docker repository will be downloaded from the source below, which is download.docker.com. The next one is to specify the installation source. We will need to execute the apt cache command to ensure the Docker installation source is the Docker repository, not the Ubuntu repository. The apt cache command queries the package cache of the package manager for the Docker package we have previously added. We will need to run the following command, which is apt-cache policy docker. Moving forward, we will need to install Docker by running the command sudo apt docker. Once the installation has been done, so we'll need to check the Docker status by using sudo systemctl status docker. If the installation will finish, the output should be similar to the following, and it shows the Docker status is running and active. Okay, the next one is how we will run a Docker to connect with a container. First thing first, to run a Docker and container, we will need to have a running container. Below is the step to run a Docker container and how to connect. To run a Docker container, we will need to apply the command docker run -it -name and put in the container name. In this, for example, is name my container. The next step is to connect the running container. We can use docker exec-it and put in the container name that have been created. Once we're already in the container, so we can run any command to interact with the container. To exit the container, we can simply running type exit. And last but not least, to stop or exit the container, we can use Ctrl D or run the command docker stop my container.
Now to connect Docker to MySQL, run MySQL container. Replace MySQL-container with your preferred container name. Change the password database name as needed. So the command is docker run -d_name MySQL container. MySQL root password equal to password -e MySQL_database my database -e MySQL_user for the username. In here we use my user -e MySQL password is the SQL password. For the example, we use my password. So enter your port 3306 MySQL -latest. Connect to MySQL container using the command docker exec-it MySQL-container. Your container name MySQL -u my user is the username -p. To interact with MySQL, create simple command such as creating table using the command create table. Example, table, the table name, and then the data. So to exit MySQL, just simply type exit. Stop and remove MySQL container. When you are done, you can stop and remove the MySQL container using the command docker stop MySQL container and docker rm MySQL container. We just see how to connect the Docker to MySQL. So to connect server and client into MySQL using Docker. To connect a MySQL server running in a Docker container from MySQL client outside the container, you need to follow this general step. First, run MySQL server container using the command docker run -d_name your container and your password for the root and the name of database, username and username password to the, and then -p and state the port for the server. To connect MySQL client to the server, simply use the command mysql-h, the IP number. For this example, we use 127.0.0.1-p. The port number 33306-u. My user is the username -p. To interact with MySQL, once connected to the MySQL server, you can run SQL command, create table, and perform other database operation. To stop and remove MySQL container, when you are done, you can simply use the command docker stop MySQL container or docker rn MySQL container.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Haikal Aznil bin Satar. I will introduce about the video, what we are ready to do. So as you can see, we try to install a server Ubuntu in VMware. So as you can see, on this video, we have already installed client as the Ubuntu and that server Ubuntu. We put the server. So we try to finish the installing, and then we can see what we need to do after this. So we going to the then Ubuntu client. So in the terminal, we going to the SSH to going to the server and install the Docker into the server Ubuntu. After we finish, and then we try to run Docker, and then we try to run. We need to see the Docker is ready run or not. So we create the folder for Dockers. Like we need to put in the Dockers what like MySQL, server container, client container, and the Python. So in the all the directory of we already create, we need to put a Docker file. Put the Docker file in all directory, and then in the itt 440 we need to put file Docker Compose. So and this is the terminal of the Compose. We need to put some coding to synchronize the we need to put the coding to run the container can link each other. So after we already finish create the folder, we need to move folder into the root folder. So we move all the folder to the root, and then we try put some coding to the Docker Compose. So as you can see, service, this is a MySQL latest. MySQL latest is a database. So we built in the 01-MySQL directory. So container name, I put server 01-MySQL. So the password application to I put the MySQL native password. So we try to troubleshoot why it cannot run into the container. So as you can see, we need to use Docker Compose app to run the command to see the container is running or not. So you can see that this is a terminal for container that is already run. So this is container ID, image have a MySQL. So we create about this is port 3306. We put on the Docker Compose. So name in the itt440 db1. So we try to put some address in the db, and then we put some coding file db, and then we try to so the Docker's ready run, the container is ready run. So we try to put going to MySQL. So we try to run in the another terminal. Then we try to put my password ready put. So we try to show database on the MySQL. We try to create database for DB. So I try to show database is ready run, and we can see that the database have information scheme, DB, MySQL, performance scheme, and then we try to put some table on the DB. So we put the person, we try to put the table person. So as you can see, I put the person table persons. So we try to run show table, so the persons already in the DB DB. After this, we try to run how to server and client can connect to the MySQL using Docker. So this is a command for we need to put in the all Docker file in server, client, container, and Python. Edit on Docker Compose to give access to the container. In the Compose file, we try to troubleshoot and understanding about why the container cannot run. So on the problem is the in the Compose. So as you can see, the Docker Compose already run, and then the server of 01, server 02 dash container, server 04 dash py, all the server and the container and the client already run in the container in the Docker. So as you can see that the container already run. So that's all from us. Thank you for watching, and my team members, thank you so much.